Week 2 of fantasy football is over, and a lot just happened. Here's what you need to know. These are the 7 running backs you need to add now in fantasy. Starting with rookie Tyrion Davis-Price, who made his NFL debut week 2. And somewhat surprisingly, he played 30 snaps, which ended up being 40% of the overall running back snaps. This is pretty dang healthy for a rookie, and it led to him seeing 42% of the opportunities. But that's not all, because unfortunately, Trey Lance is likely out for the year now after having ankle surgery, and we know Jimmy Garoppolo is not a mobile quarterback, which means more rushing share and more touchdown share for the running backs. And now this is important because according to Pro Football Focus, week 1, the rookie already saw 3 goal line carries, Mr. Tyrion Davis-Price. And the goal line carries lead to the cheat codes in fantasy football, which is either targets or those red zone touches. And let's not forget, Jeff Wilson is the starter with Elijah Mitchell down, sure. But as you can see over his career, he's never played anywhere near a full season. He's missed at least 5 games in every year of his career. He's actually missed 48% of his NFL games due to injury. And the 49ers just spent the 3rd round pick on Davis-Price. Expect him to be involved, so add him and then grab this next RB. And here's the scoop. James Conner injured his ankle week 2, and it's time to add his backup. And this is nothing new with James Conner. He's never played a fully healthy season. He's missed at least 2 games every year of his career, and most of the time he's missing at least 5+ games. So the question becomes, who's the guy to add here? Well, these are the 2 running backs you could potentially add, and we can start with Eno Benjamin, who week 1 was the only running back behind James Conner to see a snap. Daryl Williams saw 0 snaps. However, in week 2, once James Conner went down, Daryl Williams saw more snaps than Eno Benjamin, and he saw more touches as well. And again, according to Pro Football Focus, all 8 of the goal line carries, right, those highly valuable carries, the touchdowns are where they're going to make you win your fantasy matchups, went to Daryl Williams, not Eno Benjamin. So here's your takeaway. Daryl Williams is coming off the most efficient year of his career. He was top 12 amongst all running backs last year in production per touch, 5.3 yards per touch. And it's very likely that he's going to remain on the field over Eno Benjamin in crucial situations because Benjamin last year ranked 115th out of all running backs in pass protection. He's not good at protecting the quarterback. So if Conner misses time, expect Williams to operate as the RB1A, meaning you want to prioritize him, but if he goes, don't be scared to take Eno Benjamin, because after all, Eno did win the job in the preseason over the veteran Daryl Williams, and he was the only running back to see a snap behind Conner week 1. And in that week 1 game, he played 36% of the snaps. Some of this was in blowout run, but he saw 8 opportunities. And the big thing is he saw 4 targets. And this is kind of what he's known for when he was coming out of college. He's a elite pass catcher. See for yourself. These are Benjamin's final 2 years in college. He saw 100 targets over that 2-year span, and this target share is very impressive. Anything for a college running back in the 10% range is elite. He went over that number back-to-back years, including nearly a 15% target share his final year of college. So there's a chance he could be the change of pace back, the 3rd down back, the 2-minute drill back, and that holds some value if Daryl Williams was to go earlier in your waiver wire. So consider Benjamin and then grab this veteran RB. And that's going to be Raheem Mostert, who was surprisingly the Dolphins running back 1 week 2. He played more snaps than Chase Edmonds. After Edmonds saw 73% of the opportunities in week 1, this week it was Mostert, who was healthier after dealing with an injury in the preseason and camp, ended up seeing 67% of the opportunities. That's your targets and your touches. And here's the thing. Miami was trailing for most of this game, so you would think the pass catching back in Edmonds would be on the field more, but he wasn't. And not only was he not on the field more in those passing down situations, but Raheem Mostert saw the only 2 goal line snaps, and that's important because if Mostert's getting more passing game work, he ran more routes than Edmonds this week, and if he's seeing the goal line touches, he can actually be a legit fantasy option. And remember, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel was Mostert's coach in San Francisco and was actually the reason why Mostert came to Miami. As you can see here from Mike McDaniel's experience, from 2017 to 2020, he was the San Francisco 49ers run game coordinator, meaning that he was in the room with Raheem Mostert and coaching him. And Mostert averaged over 13 points per game in 21 healthy games when Mike McDaniel was his run game coordinator and when Mostert was healthy. This is very good usage. This is top 24 RB usage, shouldn't be on your waiver wire. So add him and then add this rookie RB. All right, so here's the deal. Bucs running back Giovanni Bernard left the game with an ankle injury and he was out for the rest of the game, so he might miss some time. Meaning that rookie Rachaad White, who was likely already the running back 2 in the depth chart, is now the clear only other option in this backfield. And let's discuss. This is the week 2 snap share for this Bucs backfield. It's obvious Leonard Fournette is the clear running back 1. He played on 58 of the possible 67 snaps. That's an 87% share. But it's also important that we point out since 2020, Leonard Fournette has missed about 20% of his games, meaning that at some point this year, it's likely that he misses time and Rachaad White gets to step in. So here's what you need to know about White. Quite simply, he's an elite pass catching threat. He ended up seeing a 19% college target share, meaning he saw 19% of Arizona State's targets, which anything above 10%, like I said earlier, is fantastic. Anything above 15% is elite. This is unbelievable. It's top 2% of all time. And then you add into the fact that he's 214 pounds, so a solid build, and athletic, meaning he could be a 3-down back. So grab him as insurance before something happens to Fournette, and then get this rookie. And that would be Brian Robinson, who might return in just 3 weeks. And as you can see here, he's already taking part in individual drills, and he looks pretty dang good out there. And just a reminder, he beat out Antonio Gibson for the starting role in the preseason and camp just 2 weeks ago. And one more thing, Washington doesn't trust Gibson. I mean, last year he led the NFL with 6 fumbles, so can you blame them? And he's likely 1 fumble away from being benched this year. And here's how you can tell they don't trust him. First off, they aggressively signed JD McKissic this year after Buffalo had a contract in place with him just because they knew they needed somebody on 3rd downs and in pass protection. And then they drafted the man you should add in Brian Robinson out of Alabama, elite size and speed specimen, to play more on early downs. So Gibson is clearly on thin ice here. So you want to make sure you grab Robinson before he returns. And you should also grab my waiver wire tiers, which are linked in the description below. This is last week's after week 1 for the tight end position. Gerald Everett, Hayden Hurst, Evan Ingram are the top 3 guys we said you should add. And oh yeah, by the way, they are by far the 3 best options for this week as well. If they're still available, it's unlikely they all are. So to get the waiver wire tiers and a bunch of other tools and perks that'll come later in the week emailed right to you, you just click the link in my description below. It takes you to this page, and then you just click on access the cheat sheet. And once you do that, it'll take you to our proud sponsors and Prize Picks, and then you just leave a $10 minimum deposit, and you'll get not only the waiver wire tiers, projections, and ranks, but also a $20 Amazon gift card. That's an offer that I do, so you can check that out if you want all those tools. It's linked down below. It takes you 30 seconds. Now let's talk about a real sneaky running back. And here's where it starts. It starts with Damian Harris potentially injuring his knee. On the last play of the game, he was seen holding his knee and throbbing after he got a first down, and he did not come in for the kneel down snaps like he usually does. Now in the post-game press conference, Damian Harris said that he was okay, but J.K. Dobbins also said that he would play week 1, and he's yet to play. So I think we should wait and see what the actual injury report says here. And we already know that running back Ty Montgomery, who was seeing usage in the preseason in week 1, he's on IR now, which means that if Damian Harris was to miss time, Ramondre Stevenson would be the clear running back 1. He'd be a fantastic play in fantasy, but the Patriots would likely also have another running back active. And it's likely that running back, the new RB2, if Harris was to miss any time, would be Pierre Strong, who was a 4th-round pick this year, and he has top 1% speed of all time. He brings a different dimension that Damian Harris does not. And not only that, but he was super productive in college. As just a 19-year-old freshman, he had over 1,000 yards, and then last year, when you factor in his receiving yards, he had well over 1,800 total yards in college. This is great production. So grab him just in case something happens later on in this week, especially in deeper leagues. And also be sure to grab my fantasy cheat sheet, which has the waiver wire tiers and a whole bunch of other stuff, including a $20 Amazon gift card, by clicking the link in the description below. I appreciate you all a ton, and I'll see you in the next one.